Hello, nice to meet you today. And I'm here to talk to you about guys like you. And I see that almost everybody got a copy. So the first disclaimer is like, I hope you are okay with these images of gay, naked men. I hope you're okay. If you're uncomfortable, it's better that you leave the room. If you're uncomfortable with this, no? Anyone? Okay. So we had this project in 2009, and I think it's important to locate it in time because in 2009, iPhones were just breaking into the market. Actually, at that time, I remember just one of my friends had an iPhone. Grindr wasn't even there. And actually, I was the last person in my group of friends who had an iPhone. Actually, it's not even an iPhone, it's an Android because it's cheaper. So I'm saying this because at the moment, the idea was to have like something printed that people could have access to online, because that was like in 2009, like, whoa, this is something very exciting. So today I would probably use like apps, or will hire someone to do like more like a Grindr kind of stuff. But at the time, this is what it was very hot in the market. So the rates of HIV for Latino gay men in Canada were very high. There were different studies, and the numbers were there. So different funders were worried about it, so they provided us with some funding to create this story. Originally, the story was supposed to be just in Spanish, 2,000 copies, black and white, and just to be distributed around Toronto, around the village, Church and Wesley. But eventually, I think people liked the project and they liked the pictures and the quality and stuff. We ended up having 14,000 copies, national distribution through Katie, and it was full color. We had a website, we have a video, and it was very amazing in so many ways because never before anything like this happened for the Latino communities in Canada. And also, I think it was great because it provides some visibility as a community that many people think are not there. But Latinos are there in very big numbers. So, guys like you, it was a fotonovela. Many people say, like, what is a fotonovela? Fotonovela it's a graphic novel. It's supposed to be dramatic. It tells a story. It is like three stories, three characters, and it's like things happen to them, and then there's like a climax moment, and then people, in order to find out the end, they had to go online to the website that we developed. Most of the story based Latinos in the context of Canadian gay culture and something that is a white gay culture where Latinos are always the other, like the strangers in this land of pleasures and desires. So that's basically a little bit the context, the theoretical context of the fotonovela. And as I said before, it's placed in Church and Wesley, like the gay village is the little universe where these stories happen. We had at the time the first intervention for Latino gay men in Canada, also called Mano en Mano. So we had many pilots and focus group, and we worked with our communities in order to make sure that the content was relevant. For the cover, and this is something that people mentioned yesterday, this was a little bit controversial because some people wanted this kind of cover, like this is like a good Catholic boys, like they go to school, they are very innocent, like you want this like to be invited to your mothers or grandmothers, this is great. And some other people wanted this, like the hot guys, torso, naked, speedo, like he's showing a little bit of his crack ass. So we didn't know what to do, so we ended up doing what you know now, which is we have the two covers. And it was very interesting because we will go to these gay places like Woody's, which is on Church Street, and we will place one pile with this cover and one pile with the other, just to see that 2 hours later, the ones with this cover, they were all gone, and these ones, they were there for weeks. So people didn't figure out that they were the same thing. And that was interesting because at the end, we faced the same problem. Like, so this is what some people want. I'm sorry, but this is what it is. And this is very empowering, and this is like a bringing visibility, and it's great. The other funny thing is we got lots of money for media, and like mainstream media, like Toronto Star, will use this one. They will never use this one. Fab magazine, an extra, and all the game, they use this one. So it was very interesting to have kind of the double thing. And at the end of the day, I think it was great because everybody was happy with the final decision. So the distribution, we use volunteers, like people in our team, people who volunteer in our center, they came, and then we just went like literally with the piles to different places. We tried some other places outside of the village. It was challenging because once they discovered like they were like naked men in calendars, some places didn't like it, so I have to be honest about it. So it's kind of tricky. At the end of the day, I think it had more distribution within the gay village neighbors. And also because I brought some to Vancouver, I know they posted on the village as well. And through Katie, I know they had distribution also in Montreal, so I know that people have been using it. Every month I get this list from where they have been requested, these magazines, and sometimes they're from places very far away, like I would never think there's Latino people living in Newfoundland, I don't know. And then we get the numbers of how many magazines are requested per month, which is great. So we had the launch at Woody's. It was great because we got lots of media attention, like mainstream media. We got CBC, we got MTV, many articles published around the world, actually. Like people in Spain, they text us or they call me and they say like, oh, we know about your thing, can you send us some copies? Like this time of globalization, it's very difficult to do something that nobody else will find out. So it was very easy to find this project online. Here are some of the newspapers in the world, especially in the Latino or Spanish-speaking countries, that we got some media coverage. This is funny because we hired this ad. I think this is the Weekly Eye. I think is the name of the newspaper. They censor the cover. They put a little like a star. It looks like a porn star movie from the 80s. I don't know what is the offensive part about 2 centimeters of the crack, but that was censored. That's so funny. So we had a website, and I'm using we had, and didn't want to start by the fact that this is what happens when you have a community project that is great and amazing, and it's worldwide famous, and it's a national distribution, but it's website based. So we measure from May 1st to December 31st, and we got that the version in English was seen the most, and then the Spanish one. This was our website, and I'm still saying was because it's not there anymore. So we have this beautiful website got designed, but it's lost and it's gone. And I've been trying to get the material and everything is there, but I don't know so much about computers. As you've probably seen for these 2 days, I can't even connect with my computer here. So I'm trying to say emails, and they talk about templates, they talk about addresses, IPs, things that change. At the end of the day, I don't have the website and I don't have the material. I think it's sad because it was so much effort put into this website. We could track the clicks at the time. Many were from Mexico. That was interesting. Canada, 1,400. There are other countries and locations there. That's the total of the clicks for the first month. There was a way to actually know from where people were accessing the websites. So there was like, we had a Facebook page. So I went, before I came to this conference, I said like, oh, I'm gonna see what happened with the page. And the page is also gone because it says it has moved to something else, that is something groups, blah, blah, blah. And then they gave me like 300 clicks, things I had to do. So I was like, okay, this is another thing that builds to my point about capacity building. Here's the evaluation. The evaluation we had, it was like a form. We asked people whether they like it, if they thought the content was relevant, if they actually think it was useful for them. So that was very interesting as well. And here's what I told you at the beginning. It was thought about to be like a small project, but ended up becoming this like huge national project. And well, that was the website, www.guyslikeyou.ca.